Tuesday, January 9th, meeting of the Troy Board of Park Commissioners. Abby, please call the roll.
Mr. Emmerich?
Here.
Mr. Harrelson?
Here.
Mrs. Anderson?
Here.
All members are present.
Alrighty. First item on the agenda here is the approval of minutes from our December 12th meeting. Is there any additions or subtractions? Hearing none, I'll take a motion for approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
A second. Motion approved. Heading to our reports. Mr. Drake.
Good afternoon. Apologies for not having a written report to you. I was out ill last week. But our crews have been busy with tree removal. That's continued through the winter months here. So we're really heavy into that. We're doing a fine job and moving right along as scheduled, actually a little bit ahead of where we thought we would be. Our wonderful tree on Prouty Plaza that had died has come out. I know there were some inquiries about that, so that had, if anybody asked, that had started to die early last year, and we noticed by the end of last summer it was about 75% or more dead. So with concerts and events downtown, we wanted to make sure we got that out in a timely manner. So that is out. With that being said, I want to welcome Aaron Colvin. He just transferred from Riverside Cemetery into our department. He started today. I think he's going to be a nice addition to our crew, and welcome him aboard.
Awesome. Any questions for Mr. Drake? Mr. Seiler.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just highlight a couple points on my report there. As we do each year, the first business day of the new year, we start taking our online shelter reservations for the community park and also for Duke Park. So we started doing that on Tuesday, January the 2nd. And also we have approximately 100 of our season passes sold for the aquatic park. We do generally a promotion starting the beginning of December at discounted rates, $20 off regular rates through the end of the year. And so now currently we're offering those at $10 off. So we're right at about 100 passes for the season so far, which is right on track with where we typically are about this time.
That's awesome. Any questions for Mr. Seiler? I had a buddy text me that said they're driving from Columbus to go see this Riley Green concert. So
that's what we like to hear.
Yeah, they're excited.
Good.
Mr. Boer.
Good afternoon. So I would just add that our simulator leagues started yesterday, so they'll go on for 10 weeks through the middle of March. The golf course is still open, or has been up until we had some snow, so don't anticipate a whole lot of play with obviously the outdoor weather that we'll have coming in the near future. And then, just as we turn the page to a new year, just in the process of putting together the 2024 kind of tournament league and outing schedule, so that'll be kind of an ongoing thing throughout the next month or so.
Awesome. Anything for Mr. Boer? I don't have anything for the Planning Commission. Moving on to new business. First item on the agenda is the election of officials for 2024 for the Park Board. How we kind of done this on an annual basis is, right now I'm president. Will set up as vice president, and Moni are stepping in that secretary role. But on an annual basis, we'll kind of have that discussion. If you're interested in moving one way or another, we can always, accommodate and help facilitate that. So, that being said, is there a motion? Will, thoughts, comments on that at all, or you want to?
I will continue to serve as vice president of the board.
Okay, all right.
I understand
you're sticking around, that's it.
Mona doesn't want to jump in on the first day.
That's what we want, all right.
Secretary is great.
Do we have
So I will move to reappoint Jordan as president, myself as vice president, and Mona as secretary for the 2024 year.
Is there a second?
I will second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Abby, I don't need to call the roll on that, right? I'll just go, since we all in favor said aye. Okay. The next item on the agenda is to reappoint members of the Miami Shore Golf Course Advisory Board. Mr. Boer, you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, so just reappointing Mr. Gary Weaver as President of the Advisory Board, along with Mr. Rick Szabo. Both have served a couple of terms now and would like to continue doing so.
Is that the entire board, or there's more members?
No, there are two other members currently, and then in the process of replacing one more as well.
Okay. And if someone's interested in being on that board moving forward or anything like that, they would just reach out to you, or they reach out to Rick or Gary?
Any of us,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. I'll make a motion to accept the nominees via Mr. Boer. Is there a second on that?
A second.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Yep. The next thing here is the consideration of extending the existing non-alcoholic beverage service agreement for an additional year scheduled to end April 30th and extend through April 30th, scheduled to end April 30th, 2024, to extend through April 30th, 2025. Who's going to be
Ken,
presenting
you got
that?
it?
Yeah, so we currently have a beverage agreement with Pepsi,
Mhm.
which started May 1st of 2018. It was a 5-year agreement with the option of 3 additional 1-year extensions. So this would be essentially to extend this, the second of those 3-year extensions. We've had a good working relationship with Pepsi, and this covers the Hobart Arena, Troy Aquatic Park, the golf course. So it's an agreement that's kind of coordinated and handled between both the park board and the rec board and Pepsi, which is our current provider. So this essentially is just to extend that for another year. The park, or the recreation board did that at their meeting in December.
Okay.
And so this is just the park board's end of extending that agreement as well.
Okay, so there'll be one more year after this, and
That's
then
correct.
it'll come up
And
through
then
discussion.
we would advertise for bids once that term expires in 2026.
Okay. Any questions?
So, Ken, I just have a couple of questions as
I'll do my best.
a newer park board person, and
Yeah.
not that I have any reason to not endorse that extension.
Mhm.
Does that, so this is built into the current agreement as a renewal?
Yes.
So you wouldn't have any reason to go bid for anything right now anyway, unless it was
No,
poorly?
and matter of fact, in some respects, I mean, one, at least from our perspective, and I think from the golf course as well, we've really been pretty fortunate and had a good working relationship with Pepsi.
Agreed.
Not really any major problems or anything like that. So I think that was one of the reasons why we kind of built this in, that if we were really having some significant challenges, we could back out and go ahead and re-advertise again
Sure.
for a new contract. The other part of that is, of course, obviously, all of their equipment is in place.
Right.
And all the mechanisms to order and everything else are already there. So it's much easier to continue to do that. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's what I pretty much assumed, but I was just kind of curious. And then this is just kind of a, for my own humor question, do you get any feedback from the consumers over choice of, what's offered in these things? Because it's one of those things that everyone knows, people have preferences, but I'm just curious if you get any feedback from the users of your facilities that they
We've not.
are happy or
really heard
unhappy
much.
or-
I'm sure that, like you said, there's a portion of folks out there that prefer one over the other, and then there's probably a percentage that don't necessarily care one way or the other. But we've not really heard any negative feedback necessarily due to the fact that we have an agreement with Pepsi.
Right, when you guys go out, because you will bid this again in 2026,
Correct.
then I guess you probably don't take that to too much consideration if you're not getting any feedback from people.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about what that proposal is, and the board's reviewing what those proposals are, and we'll provide them a recommendation based on that, so.
Great, thank you.
Is there a motion the board wishes to take on this one?
I will move to approve, from the park board's perspective, the extending of the existing non-alcoholic beverage service agreement as requested.
All right, that was a mouthful there. I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved. Next up on the agenda is the consideration of the request of Metro FiberNet to store 20 to 25 cable service vaults and some bag gravel at Meadow Point Park, as defined in the attached drawing that we were provided. Is there someone who wishes to speak on
I
this?
think I can, or any questions I can't answer, we've got Chris Wheatley with engineering here as well that can help answer questions if there are any questions of the board that I may not know the answers to.
I don't know if I got a drawing.
I think I forwarded, yeah, so that was what was forwarded to me in an email, kind of the drawing of the approximate location where they would like to store these items. I know Chris had indicated in the email I forwarded, they do not plan to run any kind of equipment into the park. These will be hand carried and placed, and then, they'll go in and out on foot. So it doesn't sound like, don't anticipate too much, turf damage and that kind of thing. They do indicate they would, come back and seed and take care of the turf if there is any damage.
Is there a timeline associated with it? Or is it...
I didn't see. Chris, do you have a timeline?
Their start date could be anytime. As soon as they get final approval from us, they're going to start, and then their completion date could be towards the end of March.
Okay. So a couple months max is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions from the park board?
I guess, do we know what the size of these vaults are?
Yeah, they're roughly about the size of the seat of this chair.
Okay.
And I printed off a couple of...
Yes, you remember me, this is not a jury, this is not a...
Oh, okay. They're just like
That's not the drawing,
Yeah.
okay.
And you've probably seen...
kind of fiberglass looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any issue if it's temporary, they're working with Jeremy, they're gonna come back and reseed it. If there's any further discussion or there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved. Next up, Mr. Lutz, to talk about the Troy City Skate Park Unite member.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Hey.
It is a pleasure to speak with you this afternoon. My name is William Lutz. I'm a board member of Troy City Skate Park Unite. I'm kind of standing in for Matt Williams, who is the grand visionary and president of our board, but he's on a trade show trip out west, so I drew the short straw to be here this afternoon. In your packet, you saw a lot of information about the dreams that Troy City Skate Park Unite has for the Joe Reardon Skate Park. And I will tell you that what you're beginning to see is the culmination of a lot of hard work done by Mr. Williams, and I know he's been in conversations with Mr. Drake for a number of years. The city has always been supportive of the keep pushing events that Troy City Skate Park Unite has had at the Joe Reardon Skate Park for a number of years, in which we've done some fundraisers and just events that get people more understanding what skateboarding is, more than what they might see on the television or have other ideas of what that pursuit actually involves. Late last year, Mr. Williams contacted me and said, hey, we've got something here, can you help me formalize something? So working with him and some other individuals, we created Troy City Skate Park Unite to be a nonprofit corporation. That opened up a number of doors for our organization to begin to receive grants. We received one last year for $5,000 from a gentleman named Rob Drydeck. I had no idea who Rob Drydeck was, but when Matt got the call that he got $5,000, he was absolutely over the moon. I'm like, I wouldn't know him from Adam, but he was excited about it. We also received a sizable grant from the Troy Foundation last month for $17,000 to do two specific activities. Both of those activities are outlined in the packet today. The first of those activities is a soil survey that will be conducted by Bowser & Warner. And we're really requesting permission to allow Bowser & Warner to do a soil survey of the Joe Reardon Skate Park. The reason for the soil survey is that, as you might imagine, developing a skate park, there's going to be excavation of items. You've got to make sure that the soils are right, and a geotechnical survey is the way in which we can determine what we can actually put in the skate park to ensure that it will actually last a long time and serve the needs of the community. The second item you see is from the platform group. The platform group is actually going to be doing the design of the skate park itself. Right now, they're in the phase where they can probably deliver to us a conceptual plan within the next 2 to 3 months of what the skate park could look like. And the conceptual plan, the operative word is could. One of the things that Matt and the platform group are really working on is to ensure that there is adequate public input to ensure that whatever is going to be built will actually be used, will actually be a positive asset to the community, and will actually be something that this community can be proud of. So once that conceptual plan is put out, we're going to do our job of letting people know that that conceptual plan is out there and begin getting input on that plan. And Matt's going to be working with the skateboarding community throughout Ohio and the Midwest to say, hey, look what we're building here in Troy. What needs to be a part of it in order for you to actually come here and use this facility? And so once we get to the point where we have the conceptual plan, we have the ideas of what we want to put in it, then we will do work with Bowser and Warner to do the geotechnical survey, and then the platform group will come in the end and do the design detail of what it will look like. That will give us an idea of how much this behemoth will cost, and we'll give Troy City Skate Park Unite the marching orders to do the fundraising to get the project towards the finish line. So that's a quick and dirty 2-minute explanation of why I'm here. I will do my best to answer any questions you have, but I will tell you that Matt, my knowledge of skateboarding, you could fit in a thimble and have plenty of room left over. I wish Matt was here, but I will do my best Matt invitation for you this afternoon.
So what you're essentially asking for is permission to do the geological survey?
Correct.
And then the rest of the funds are basically going to go to getting some conceptual drawings on to start the next phase of the process of the skate park.
Absolutely. And whatever we come up with the geotech survey, of course, we will share with the city and say, okay, this is what you got out there at the Joe Reardon Skate Park.
Yeah. And we've always had a great relationship with Matt down there at Skate Unite. He's been extremely open and always communicated with you, correct, right?
Yeah, so kind of just a real quick backstory to that the skate park, we got to where we are right now with our existing skate park through Matt Williams. Going clear back to our very first skate park, Matt was just a kid at that time and actively skating, and him and his family helped get our first skate park built, and then kind of from there, now his whole career life has been built around skateboarding, and I believe that's where he's out west right now. So Matt had contacted me it's probably about 5 years ago, and our skate park wasn't being used a lot. There wasn't a lot of interest in it. It was being vandalized constantly, and he just kind of, for us it was just a maintenance nightmare, and we didn't understand what was going on. And for them on the skateboarding side was like the city doesn't care what's going on, and so there's just this big disconnect. And Matt was the piece that kind of brought us all together to say, for us to say we still care, but what do you need? And then for them to tell us, so we met out there on site and rearranged ramps and pulled ramps apart and moved things, and Matt calls it flow, where we utilized the space that we had better than what we were and kind of opened things up and got it to where we are, to where now it's being used, and it's being actually used a lot. And so this whole interest and momentum has gained and gotten us to where we are with our existing park. At the same time, realizing that our equipment out there has aged out to the point where we do need to look at, ramps need replaced and that kind of thing. But now, maybe there's a bigger picture for what that looks like in the future. But yeah, so a great relationship. I say all that to say it's been a great relationship, and that's really what's catapulted us to where we are with our skate park now, where we're having organized volunteer days where they come in and paint over graffiti and clean up trash and bring awareness. He's running a social media site so that if a vandal comes in and does something to a ramp, it goes out on the website. He pulls a group of volunteers together and they go out and take care of it, rather than now the city taking care of it, and that kind of thing, just to raise awareness. And it's been a huge help and huge effort that's brought us to where we are now with our skate park.
Any other questions for Mr. Lutz? I remember, I told Ken this, my first job was working for the at the skate park.
At Treasure Island
When it's
Park.
Treasure Island, you're in that shed, right? And there's
Yep.
like one ramp. So, the fact that this is even on the board is, pretty exciting. I guess the only thing is from a, house cleaning standpoint is, obviously if we're authorizing someone to come and do a geological survey, that you're just working with proper city engineering to make sure that that's done and they're aware of that.
Yeah, and Mrs. Knight, I'll reach out to you and make sure that we have, if there's anything we need from the contractor before they come on site, I'll make sure that we've got all that squared away. Go ahead.
Yep.
was only, right here. In checking with the Director of Law, because the city owns the property, it would have to be the city authorizing this with Bowser Mourner, signing
Okay.
any document. So therefore, anything would have to, meet our, like any other vendor, insurance requirements or whatever, hold harmless. But so that was the one thing that he said, is that the city would have to maintain, the control of the documentation of working with the vendor.
So are you looking for then a recommendation for us for approval to city council, or to council?
Wouldn't have to go to council
Okay.
because of the amount of the purchase here, but it would be the park board that would be signing it. We could arrange for somebody else perhaps to pay or however, but the city, the park board, would have to be the ones that would be signing the document authorizing Bowser Mourner to come on the city property and actually do that survey.
Okay. Do we need to run that before Mr. Kerber then? If, like, they've got a contract or something like that from Bowser Mourner, do we need to run that past Grant for his review before that's signed?
He has seen these documents, and
Okay.
that's why he said that it would have to be not signed by the organization, but signed by the city, because it's the city's property,
Okay.
to have the survey done.
Perfect.
I know Bowser Mourner does like ODOT projects
Yeah.
and things. They're a big deal. So whatever's in their stock contract's going to be something that Grant's seen before.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've seen it because I've had them as in some ODOT litigation where they did geotechnical. So I know that they're a pretty big player in the area. So I will move to approve permission for Bowser Mourner to perform the soil study, and I suppose for the execution of the document upon Grant's approval.
I'll second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Is there anything else to come before the park board? Mayor, see you back there? No? All right. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn,
Motion?
and I'll second.
Aye.
Adjourn.
Aye.